Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charles Sabansu, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show. We cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. Well, we got a show for you guys here today. Let me just go ahead and get into this topic. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We were actually finished shooting, and our editor, excuse me, Mitch, who always seems to be following stories happening around the NBA, he sends me a story of Shannon Sharpe and Redick going at it. And I'm like, bro, we just finished shooting. I'm still like uploading content. But he sends me a story, not a story, a live from Ticket TV. Ticket TV, I don't know how this dude be, I don't know how Ticket TV be catching all these stories. So I really don't know. This Ticket TV got like a superpower. I don't know how the hell he does it. But Ticket TV was doing a live and was talking about it. So as I'm listening to his live, I was trying to figure out, wait, what's happening? And then I probably came in like maybe 5-6 minutes into his live. And then I see, then he starts playing the exchange between Shannon and Redick. And it sounded very, very heated. And I was like, yo, I got to find out where this clip is to hear myself. So I quickly searched the internet and I was able to find it. And I listened to it. Now, excuse me, if you know anything about Redick, you know Redick can be very condescending at times. He speaks in terms of like, as a matter of fact, like what he's saying is the gospel truth and nothing but the truth. And it seems like Shannon Sharpe got irritated of that, of him just totally dismissing his point about the Lakers being a threat in the Western Conference. If you look at their record against some of the top tier teams in the Western Conference this season, beating the Clippers, beating Oklahoma City Thunder, beating the Suns. I think they beat the Suns. So what happened? I go on down the clip and I start listening to it. And Shannon Sharpe starts talking. And then Redick starts talking. And then things start to go left. And Shannon Sharpe starts going at Redick. They start going back and forth with each other. He even called him Mr. Contextualize. I was like, yo, what is going on here? So for those of you who didn't hear this exchange, I want to play it for you now. And then we'll come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to this here.
I just told you I was leaning on Denver. I'm just so focused on the fact that they've lost 8 straight to the reigning defending champions. Okay. It makes me lose faith in them. But I'm not disputing anything that you're saying about anybody else.
That's why, because of the way they played against OKC, and we know what OKC represents, they were the number 1 seed going into last night. Do I believe they can beat Minnesota in a series? Absolutely. Do I believe they can beat the Clippers? Absolutely. With D'Lo playing like he's played since the trade, since all the stuff about the trade, they absolutely, and this starting lineup with Rui Hachimura, they absolutely are a threat in the West. Yes, I believe they are. We know what Denver does to them, and hey, that's a different animal. AD is going to have to step his game up and probably give you 30 and 15 on a nightly basis. But hell, we saw him give you 40, and they still lost. So Denver might be a different animal, but I still believe they are a threat in the West because I believe in a series they can beat every other team not named the Denver Nuggets.
Look, as of right now, I don't view the Lakers as a legit threat in the West. But let me preface all of my points by saying one thing. If you're a top 4 team in the Western Conference right now, there isn't an easy first-round matchup. Regardless of how seeds 5 through 8 shake out, all 10 teams right now in the Western Conference that are in the playoff or play-in hunt right now are legit basketball teams. They are good basketball teams. We've seen the turnaround from the Golden State Warriors since Draymond Green came back and they inserted Jonathan Kuminga in the starting lineup. They went small. The Lakers season, as it pertains to them, has turned around because of three-point shooting. They are still not a good defensive team. It starts with that for me. They are not a good defensive team. And if you look at their starting lineup, you go through a first-round series, a potential second-round series, a potential conference finals. Who is their wing stopper? You say Jared Vanderbilt. That's great. Their season turned around because of three-point shooting. So now you're sacrificing your offense, what has helped turn your season around if you're playing Jared Vanderbilt big minutes. You go down the stretch of that game against the Denver Nuggets. This is what concerns me. Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell at the point of attack. I think those guys have competed. They are just not great perimeter defenders. So now all of a sudden you go through, again, multiple series in the Western Conference. You're asking LeBron James, like he did in the fourth quarter against the Clippers last week, to guard Kawhi Leonard for 7 games. That's asking a lot of LeBron James, plus all the stuff he has to do offensively. I'm not an overreaction person to one game. And I know they won the season series 3-1 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City had a tough game Sunday night in Phoenix. Then they turn around and they've got to play the Lakers on a back-to-back. They have the worst shooting first half of their entire season. Yep. They are a legit threat. I think Minnesota's a legit threat. I think the Clippers are a legit threat. But we can sort of stop the entire conversation when we talk about them winning the Western Conference, the Lakers winning the Western Conference because of what Stephen A. said. I do not think they can beat the Denver Nuggets.
But see, why do people make all these concessions? Oh, it was a tough back-to-back. It was a this or that.
I'm not
you make concessions for every.
I'm contextualizing the loss last night, Shannon.
I know you do a great job of contextualizing, but let me speak. The problem that I have with you and others is that you make concessions for every other team in the West, not named the Lakers. If the Lakers had lost on a back-to-back, you would have said they're old and tired. Well, let me ask you this. Who are Phoenix wing stoppers on the defensive end? We saw LeBron hunt Kawhi Leonard. We saw LeBron James do what he did. Who's going to guard LeBron James for the Clippers? Who's going to guard LeBron James for Phoenix?
LeBron James didn't hunt Kawhi Leonard in that fourth quarter. Clippers switched more than any team.
They put him in the pick and roll. They put him in the pick and roll.
Daniel Tice on LeBron James in that fourth quarter. He hit 2 transition threes. They messed up. They messed up the first 3. They messed up the switch on Horn's chest. They messed up the switch on Horn's chest. Then he hits 2 transition threes. Then he hits a 3 over Daniel Tice. Now all of a sudden they're forced to double. He was not hunting Kawhi Leonard. Shannon,
let me ask you a question. If Kawhi Leonard is what? Hold on. If Kawhi Leonard is what you said, why didn't he fight harder over that pick? See, that's what Kobe did. That's what Jordan did. That's what LeBron did when he was in his prime. He fought over picks. So answer that question, Mr. Contextualization.
Shannon, you're going to have to ask Ty Lue that question because, again, that is their defensive strategy.
You. I don't have Ty Lue in front of me.
That has been the strategy for the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm telling you, that is the defensive strategy for the Los Angeles Clippers. He is comfortable switching his bigs onto perimeter players. I played against the Clippers in 21. I was injured, rather, but I was on the Dallas Mavericks for 7 games. He switched Zubats onto Luka. He was comfortable living in those matchups. It's not a question for me. It's not a comparison to Kobe and Jordan.
So you heard the exchange between these two gentlemen. What are my thoughts? First of all, when I was watching that, I was in amazement. Even Stephen A. Smith, who was watching it, was in total amazement. He just sat back and was enjoying both of these guys go back and forth at each other. That's number one. Number two, if you listen to Shannon Sharpe go with JJ Redick and the points that he was bringing up, you could tell that it was something he's been holding in for a bit, which is when he said, you always miscontextualize, meaning Shannon Sharpe has been watching JJ Redick over time and maybe feels that JJ does that. Now, JJ has this thing of being condescending. He comes off that way. I think it's something that kind of irritates some people sometimes. But to be fair, during this exchange, JJ Redick didn't back down either. Now, Shannon Sharpe reached for some hyperbolic language where he was like, what Jordan did it, Kobe did it, LeBron did it, but why didn't Kawhi do it? And JJ Redick pushed back on him where he was explaining what happened. That part I think was necessary because this is how narratives are created. As someone that supports the Clippers, I remember when they were playing against the Mavs in multiple playoff series, and Luka Doncic was going off. And people were saying, oh, why isn't Kawhi Leonard guarding Luka Doncic? Why isn't he or they would say after he scores 40 or something points, they'd be like, and he dropped it on these 2 great defenders and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, but that's not what was happening. Luka was shooting 30-something% on Kawhi. If you watch the game and you weren't so focused on creating narratives, you would see that Luka was always searching for a switch. He would either search for the switch for Zubac, who he would barbecue fry him, or Patrick Beverly, who was too small, and it would sub him out of the game. So what ended up happening was the Clippers decided to start fighting over those screens to keep Kawhi on him, and his percentages went down. But a person like Shannon would be like, oh, you see, Kawhi got told, but that's not what was happening. But that's how we kind of talk in sports. Oh, your man got cooked. That's how it is, right? So JJ kind of pushed back on that. The clip was longer. It was definitely longer. And JJ started going back at him, but I think JJ had this it was like a long time coming. I think Shannon had probably heard him interact with other people like, nah, bro, you're not gonna get it over on me today. and they had that heated exchange there. Obviously, it's great television. Obviously, it's going to be great for the ratings. That's why I believe Stephen A. Smith was sitting back and laughing and enjoying himself. But when he called him Mr. Contextualize and all of that, I was like, woo. But JJ also came ready. He came ready to play, and he wasn't going to back down. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about the exchange between these two gentlemen? Do you think any of them crossed the line? Do you think it was inbounds? And who do you give that segment to? Was it Shannon Sharpe or JJ Redick? Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.